Welcome to Damn Good Movie Memories with your host, Brian Davis. This podcast is the cure for your long commute and super boring workday. Hey there, it's Brian Davis, and for this week's episode, we're going to wrap up movies and TV with our wishes of TV programs that would eventually become movies. Now, this could be what we envision in the future 20 years from now, or it could be like what could happen in the next few years. We're going to get creative, and this is always kind of fun. And this was inspired by Enrica, who said in the last episode, she wanted Law & Order SVU to be a, movie adaptation. And I held her up and I said, we're going to make this a full episode, and that's what we did. So let me go through my list fairly quickly. Okay, let's start off with the TV show 24, which starred Kiefer Sutherland. There was always talk that there was going to be a 24 movie, and for whatever reason, it just kind of fell through. They did kind of make a similar 24-ish type movie called The Sentinel, which starred Michael Douglas and Kiefer Sutherland, and it was really well done. And I think it, 24 kind of lends itself to being a full-length movie, since the whole premise was very novel at the time. All this takes place in 24 hours, and never mind that he never takes a bathroom break or eats or anything. But regardless of that, it was always well done and lasted a lot longer than it should have. But I think it was ripe for making, a really good movie to maybe wrap up the show in a proper way instead of bringing it back and kind of doing it half-assed. So 24 would have been one of my picks. They could still do this, use a different actor, down the road. A current show which I currently love is The Goldbergs, and if you listen to this show, you know that I love 80s nostalgia, and this TV show is ripe with it. And every week it's a great new episode, and it's really fun because it's all based on Adam F. Goldberg's real life and what he did as a kid, and everything from his mom and his dad to his to some of his friends and his brothers and his love of 80s movies and film and things like that. So this would be a fun movie adaptation, I think. Along the same lines as Enrica's pick for SVU, I think NCIS would be a good movie. Mark Harmon's turned this show, God, it's been on 14, 15 years and it's still going strong, and so I could see a movie adaptation for it. One of my favorite shows in the 1980s, and it's actually started in the late 70s, was Magnum P.I. and kind of made Tom Selleck a superstar. Could it be made today? Sure. I mean, maybe they do it a little bit differently, but I think the premise would work. Who could you get to play Tom Selleck? Because the beauty of Tom Selleck was he was really kind of a throwback to, James Gardner and the Rockford Files, where the guy could be tough, but he was also very likable and women loved him. And so it's very hard to kind of get that charm and be a badass at the same time. Where we have Clint Eastwood, who's a badass, but he isn't necessarily always likable. So it's kind of hard to find that that unicorn that can do both. So I don't really know. I mean, do I really want Channing Tatum to play Magnum P.I.? Not really. So maybe there'll be an actor that comes out that can do both. Maybe Chris Pratt. I don't know, but I think it'd be kind of fun to do a Magnum P.I. movie. Here's one that I always liked, and my good friend Alen finally returned my first season of Murder, She Wrote. So let's do a Murder, She Wrote movie, and I have a list of actresses that I think could do a good Murder, She Wrote movie. How about Helen Mirren, Dame Judi Dench, Julie Andrews would be good. Viola Davis, I think, would be really good, and Octavia Spencer, I think, would be really good. So I think a Murder, She Wrote movie would be kind of fun to do. And lastly, I'm going to go with kind of an oddball one, and if you've seen it on USA, it's a crazy show, but it would be an interesting movie because they could really draw it out and maybe wrap up if they're winding down on the TV show, and that is Mr. Robot. It is a fucked up TV show. There is so much crazy shit going on with that, and I think with today's tech environment and the way things are, I think it'd be an interesting movie adaptation. I don't know if they're going to wait for a while, maybe till something else comes out, but I think it would be an interesting movie. All right, enough of me. Those are my picks. Let's get into what everyone else has to say in this week's episode. All right, we're back with the person that created this week's topic, and that is Enrica. Great job. This is based on our last discussion, which
you thought it was going to be a cheat, but it really wasn't. It's morphed into this thing.
It was not my intention for it to be a whole topic, but I guess once you start thinking of them, you can get creative.
It is, and you did. And so if you didn't know already, Enrica loves this topic we're going to talk about next.
Yeah.
Yes, and so she created her very own movie based on this hit television show that's still going.
Yes.
So I'm dying to hear about this. And just by the way, we're doing movies that you wish will be created based on existing TV series.
Yeah. So I'm the kind of person, I think many people do this, that when you're reading a book, you're envisioning the movie and you're like casting and picking a director and like writing scenes in your head. Like if you're a big movie fan, I feel like you can't avoid that.
Absolutely.
And I kind of do the same thing with television shows. I like, especially if they've developed an arc that is kind of tired. I'm like, okay, we need a feature film and it needs to have like one really interesting, good narrative, and then we can like end the TV show. And Law and Order SVU is probably my favorite show on television. I love it so much. I love that when everybody was cast in the early 90s, it was just like a hodgepodge of people.
It was.
It was like people that were older, young women in positions that you wouldn't expect, like the coroner, and like I think the original DA was a woman.
Yeah.
It just kind of set the stage for creative casting and stuff. And I loved that. I thought it was so...
And the main psychiatrist, psychologist, B.D. Wong.
The Asian guy. Yeah. So they really embrace diversity, the way it's shot in New York City. I think that it was like when Dick Wolf still cared.
Yeah, exactly. Well, was this the first offshoot after the initial Law and Order?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Law and Order, Criminal Intent.
Yep.
Law and Order SVU.
Yep.
And then he went off on the deep end with Chicago's.
Yeah, but I did really like the True Crime Menendez ones, but it's like a mini-series. Yeah.
I mean, I think that SVU has a little more like screenwriting maturity than some of the others he's done. Like they have a strong element of cheese.
Oh, sure.
Like a lot of the Chicago ones, even the Menendez was very cheesy in its writing at times. But I feel like SVU always kind of brings it back. I think it's because they hire more sophisticated writers.
And they definitely use subjects of the time.
Yeah. So, and they're really good at addressing it. And what I love always about Law and Order is they don't give an answer. Right. They don't make a like grandiose moral statement. It's always, the point is always to kind of highlight the gray area.
Yeah.
You know, in morality and in, you know, the issues of today. So, and they're always really good at like bringing it back to like a good old murder mystery, and that's always fun.
That's always good, yeah.
Because you know you're watching. It's been on for 19 years, so you've been watching, and you're like, okay,
what more can you do?
There's
at this
been
point?
These huge narratives, these arcs where you're undercover with an agent, and then this person goes through this personal thing, and this person retires, and it's like this huge, long, epic tale, and then every once in a while they're like, this is exhausting. How about somebody just gets killed and we figure out who did it?
Right.
And I love that. I love being able to come back to that. And they somehow keep it interesting. I think the main reason why it's kept up its quality is the core is like Mariska.
Yeah, absolutely. She's the rock.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
So obviously my film would star Mariska.
Okay, so that answers one of my questions, which is, do you want to do this very soon or do you want to wait 20 years?
I think it would have to be soon.
Okay.
And then they'll do it again in 20 years anyway, because that's the life cycle of filmmaking, apparently. Right. But I think that at this point, it's like keep the core group for nostalgia. And then in 20 years, when they're all retired and kind of done, get a new cast of new young people
and reboot it,
who kind of represent like the new generation of investigation,
Mhm.
incorporate like new technology.
That's right.
Things like that.
Okay, so let's start with the cast. So
Yeah.
Mariska's a definite. Who else from the original? Are you going to add new people like that have
Yeah.
never been on the show?
Yes.
Okay, so let's hear about this.
You know how like the guest stars are always kind of like up and comers?
Sure.
I want this film to be like all big names, like huge celebrities. I want, the like main character who's like the center of the investigation to be Scarlett Johansson.
Okay, nice.
Because I want it to kind of discuss like sexuality and feminism and all the things that are relevant today.
Mhm.
And I think she just plays strong women that are also very sexual really well. And because it's, the sex crimes and special victims, I think that she'd be awesome.
Mhm.
So I want her to be like either the victim of a rape or like the central like driving character behind the narrative. ScarJo come through. I love her.
So you wouldn't want her to be the DA?
No, I think that for some of those characters, we need to keep Rafael Barba.
Got it. Okay.
So like some of the characters that are so, I love him. I have such a crush on him. Woo, I love him. Rafael Barba needs to come back. We
Okay.
need the same old medical examiner.
Yep.
Like all of those people that kind of build the universe. Because
Sure.
I want the universe to stay the same.
Okay.
So I do want to like have a guest star in Kragan and Munch. And
Sure.
Ice-T needs to still be on the team.
Absolutely.
So I feel like all the like maybe not some of the characters.
Would you bring back
that I
Elliot?
want. Yeah, but I
Okay.
want him to be undercover,
Okay.
like in another branch of the government. Maybe he got recruited by the FBI.
That's a good call.
Because like he's so unheard of after his departure.
Yeah.
That it would just, and he like vowed to not guest star on the show. So he's
really?
kind of
Okay.
like written out of the world.
Uh-huh.
But it would make sense that world, yes, but he exists in some other world. And
Right.
I have this like vision that he was recruited by the FBI for like sex trafficking.
Okay. Yeah.
And I want like her to encounter him during a bus or like undercover or something.
Right.
And then like they have like this big reunion and they catch up and like
That'd be good.
drinking in a bar montage
Mhm.
with Elliot. That's what I want. I want like catch up montage
Okay.
to like some trendy music and dancing and like Elliot, because I want his marriage to be over.
Okay.
And I want them to get together.
That's what you've always wanted.
Everybody's always wanted that.
Okay. Yeah.
So I want that to be like the last scene.
Got it.
I want her arc to be her whole show arc has been like her in her career
Yes.
and like work always kind of coming first. That's like her whole characterization.
Mm-hmm.
And I want now, like in her 50s, when she has this incredible career and she's like the captain of a squad and she has this new child, to like finally find her fulfillment in her personal life.
Right.
And I think Elliot will have done a lot of growing undercover for the FBI. His marriage would have dissolved. His girls are all off to college and grown up.
But since he's dealing with a really heavy job task now, do you think that could have scarred him?
No, I think
Okay.
he's ready. I think him encountering her
Will help.
will kind of be that like, wow, look how far you've come, look how far I've come.
Uh-huh.
Look at all we've done together.
I'm liking this.
And then they're going to come together on this case, which is going to be the center of the plot.
Yeah.
And Scarlett Johansson will be there.
Of course. You have my $15. I'm
And
in.
I also want it to be directed by Tom McCarthy, the guy
Instead
who
of
did-
J.J. Abrams?
No, this is not a JJ piece.
Okay. Yeah.
Tom McCarthy, the director of Spotlight.
Okay.
I wanted to have a Spotlight vibe.
Okay.
I want it to be shot
Very
kind of like-
serious. Yeah.
Yeah, because it is serious.
It is.
It's a drama.
Yeah.
But he does characters so well.
Mhm.
Like those characters in Spotlight were so well shot
They were.
and well written, and I want Dick Wolf to just like pretend this doesn't exist.
Right.
I don't like him.
He could be an executive, whatever, but pass it off to
Yeah, I
someone.
want Tom McCarthy. He's a great screenwriter, and I think that's what this needs.
Okay.
More than just like good direction,
Mhm.
but like screenwriting prowess, because it's got such a beloved, like, I don't know, a lot of cultural clout.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, do you
So-
want Benedict Cumberbatch to be somewhere in this movie? Because
Yes.
I know you have mentioned him in the past.
Obviously, I want him to be the bad guy.
Okay, good.
Or Adam Driver. I haven't
Yes,
decided.
yeah.
But it's kind of overdone. I think
Mhm.
Adam Driver as bad guy is a little overdone.
Yeah.
And even Benedict Cumberbatch as bad guy is overdone. But
he did play a good guy as Doctor Strange, so yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think both of them. Why not both?
No, I don't. But yeah, it's your movie. You can do whatever you want.
Benedict is like the mind behind the sex trafficking ring, and
Yeah.
Adam Driver is like the guy who is caught initially.
His
and kind of
first in line type guy.
squeals
Yes.
and leads them to,
Mhm.
whatever.
I like that. That's really good.
Because I want him to because his Kylo personality is so structured and
Mhm.
serious. I want him to be a little more squealy.
Yes.
Squeamish.
Uh-huh.
Because he's so creepy. He could do it so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
What else do I have
Yes.
here? Oh, I have question marks of is it a serial crime that we follow throughout the
Mhm.
film? Is it more underground sex trafficking and sex work?
Mhm.
Or is it Harvey Weinstein meets sex trafficking because the entertainment industry is
Right.
known for interacting with sex workers
Mhm.
and exploitation and all that
Right.
good stuff?
Actually, you could tie it in because a lot of times during major events, that's when sex trafficking gets at its highest. So, during the Super Bowl, during certain, because they're bringing in people for this. And so, so that might be something you could tie it to where you could have kind of both going on at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, man. I got it. It's done. Let's go. Pay me how much money for my pitch?
I like it.
I like it too.
Well, again, this is amazing. So, have you even thought about sequels after this? Because this is going to earn.
I want it to be a one and done.
Really, you don't want any. You don't want any sequels from this.
No, I don't. I want it to be Taken 1.
Okay, you don't need Taken 5.
And
6,
none of the other ones.
Yes.
I loved the first Taken.
Okay.
And I think the mistake made was they were let's make more.
Right. Well, that's Hollywood. If it's successful, because this is going to be successful. So what are you going to say when you're
what if it's
I
a
need to
flop?
do? Well, then we don't have to worry about a sequel at all.
I guess so.
And then you don't have to worry about
I want Mariska Hargitay to win Best Actress.
That'd be
at the
good.
Academy Awards.
Yep.
That's why I want Tom McCarthy.
Mhm.
I don't want some cheesy action film. I
Right.
want something serious.
You don't want Michael Bay.
No, I think the reason why Spotlight won though is because it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
So it can't be so outrageous.
Mhm.
Maybe it needs to be a little.
Keep it a little bit more toned down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe less undercover cops and more crime solving.
Yeah, but you gotta stay true to what you would be entertained by too. So.
I'm entertained by all of it.
Okay, that's fine. Are there any other shows?
I also put Friends.
Friends. Okay, so what would you do for Friends?
All the original cast
Mhm.
back. The reason why they don't want to do it is because they've aged.
Sure.
And they don't want people to be they look different. They look old.
Yeah.
But I love that.
They should age.
People should age,
Yeah.
and I think that the characters are very much still alive.
Mhm.
There's enough content in that kind of history that
Mhm.
would help build a new narrative.
Yeah.
And you can get David Crane and Mark Kaufman and Kevin Bright back in the writers'
Mhm.
room because they write comedy so well.
Yeah.
And it would have to be a comedy, obviously.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
Hilarious
Yeah.
situational comedy, they all reunite and go on a trip or something, or and maybe Tina Fey can come.
That'd be good.
I love
So
her
she's in there.
writing.
Yeah.
I want it to be Kimmy Schmidt style.
Uh-huh.
I want Kimmy Schmidt.
Would you want a Kimmy Schmidt movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm a big Kimmy Schmidt fan. But, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready.
Okay,
I
just
feel
like the TVs.
movies, at least these days, have to have a nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
Because young people won't go to the movies
Mhm.
unless it's something they're familiar
Yeah.
with. I think that studio executives have kind of caught on to us.
Yeah.
Us millennial cheapskates.
Well, yeah, if you can stream it for free or don't,
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're afraid of new things.
I know. But these are all good ideas. This is amazing. And thank you for coming up with this idea because this is fun.
No problem.
Yeah,
I want it to happen. And if you are actually interested in film and you're a good, you have a good mind for this stuff,
Mhm.
don't listen to me because I'm sure this is a bunch of shit. I'm sure this is just a pile of poo.
No, we need some, or the garbage fire, like you were
or
saying.
a garbage fire.
Yeah. But you say no, because the problem is we have too many people thinking the same in Hollywood. So we need some new, fresh ideas.
I got no ideas. I have a self-indulgence.
That's fine too. That's what Hollywood's about as well.
I just want Scarlett Johansson and Benedict Cumberbatch and Mariska Hargitay in the same
in one
room.
movie. I think eventually that will happen.
Yeah, and I want Elliot and
to get together.
Olivia to finally have their moment.
How about in real life if it happened? Would that be better?
Mariska and what's his face?
Yes.
No, I don't really like them individually.
Yes, that's real people.
I like her.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
Just some guy.
It is funny seeing him in movies when he's obviously not being Stabler. And yeah.
I love Mariska. Well, I mean,
has she been in any movies?
I don't know. Okay. I feel like her time is pretty full.
Well, I mean, she's making probably the most cash doing that way.
So much money, and she probably gets so much time off because Law and Order, they film a little bit, and then they take like a 2-month break.
Well, it's 20 episodes maybe a season?
I think it's about that.
Okay, yeah,
maybe less.
Yeah,
but they have these huge breaks where they're not on air. And they're just go on vacations and stuff.
I think if you're a TV star, that's the way to do it. And she's in syndication, so she's making buku bucks too.
What does that mean?
So once you go into syndication, you just start earning more and more on reruns.
What is syndication?
So when you've been
reruns.
Yeah, so when you're a feature, I think it's 4 years. If you're after 4 seasons, you get into syndication, and that's where you really make your money because
they're rerunning everything.
And of course, Law and Order is one of the most rerun shows.
It is always that, and what's the other one that's always being?
Well, Seinfeld.
Friends, Seinfeld, and there's one more. Oh my God, MythBusters.
And probably Big Bang Theory now, and
Modern Family.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what you want to get into. Once you get into syndication, you are sitting on the money.
How I Met Your Mother.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm surprised they haven't made a Will and Grace movie.
Well, now they brought it back, you never know. I know. We're going to leave it on that. Thank you as always, Enrica.
Thank you.
All right, we're back with Brian Provenzal. Welcome back. So for this week, we're going to have fun. This is kind of to wrap up our whole TV and movie saga, and we're going to talk about, Enrica actually came up with this. Which TV shows do you wish would have a movie eventually made from it? And so you came up with a really good one.
I thought of only one. Mm-hmm. So Enrica has a great idea. I just couldn't think of anything. But I thought of one, and I didn't think of it at first because it would kind of be impossible to make right now, and that's The Sopranos, which they had actually rumored they were rumored to maybe consider going back and doing a movie.
Okay.
And then James Gandolfini passed away.
Right.
Sadly, a few years ago, so they couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think at the time, I was actually torn about it too because I thought, well, they ended in such a great way, where it was kind of a cliffhanger, just like a sudden stop to the show in the middle of this dining scene, and they have Journey playing.
That's right. Don't
Stop Believing, and it just cuts off mid song, and it goes to black, and you don't see anything, and you don't know what's going on, and it's a good way. I mean, it's a good way to end it because it's it leaves the mystery open, but then at the same time, it's good for a sequel too because you can see it going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hoping maybe that there would be a movie of that.
Yeah,
and then and Brian actually, we were talking offline about this, and Brian mentioned that maybe 30 years from now they could turn the TV series into a movie, which would be really interesting actually.
Yeah, I think they've done ones that have worked. The only one I can think of is The Fugitive.
Yeah.
Where you just have totally different audiences. And so, my generation, your generation didn't know it was actually a TV show. My dad had to tell me that.
Yeah, I didn't know.
So I think generations, even 20 years from now would say, I don't really remember the TV show, but whoever's doing this movie version, it could be really good.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so I would watch that probably. It would depend on who did it. Being so familiar with this. I mean, I think I own the whole thing on DVD.
Okay.
So I watched it, when it was live, and then probably once or twice after that.
Okay.
So it was really one of my favorite shows ever. So it would be, they would have to be get the right director and writer.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go through that.
Okay.
Who would you get to direct?
Oh God. I mean if we were going to do it years from now, I don't even know.
Okay, well, let's do it next 10 years.
Okay, next 10 years. Let's see. Who
would make sense for you?
Scorsese could easily direct it.
Yeah.
Because I think
he's great at mob movies.
Yeah, and I think he probably understands The Sopranos really, really well. He might have even directed an episode. I can't remember.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he probably has been. I think David Chase, who created The Sopranos, is probably associated with Martin Scorsese and some other things, if I remember right. So he would be a very the easiest choice to pick. And I don't know. I can't think of any people at the moment who have made some good gangster type movies. I like actually Rian Johnson, who did the recent Star Wars movie. One of his early movies was Brick. I think that was his first movie.
Okay, yeah.
And that was a good film noir set in high school, which
interesting.
It was interesting. So I thought he's an interesting director, and I mean, apparently he's going to do like a whole Star Wars trilogy now. So I don't know. He might be tied up for the rest of his career. I don't know, but I don't know. A director.
I was going to say, have you seen The Town? With
yes.
Actually, Ben Affleck directed The Town.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, I don't know if I want him to direct that.
If it was a Boston-based show, I could see him maybe doing it. I don't know. I can't see Affleck directing.
Because that was a good kind of mob movie. I mean, now
Steven Soderbergh. I mean, he's done Ocean's 11. Mm-hmm. He's done some crime movies. Which that wouldn't be bad. He would be a good.
Is he going to? We're going off on a tangent here, but is he going to make the female version of who's directing that one?
Oh, I don't know who's directing. Okay. He might be producing that or something.
Okay, that would make sense. So who would you get to play Tony Soprano?
Tony Soprano. Wow. Hard to imagine. I don't know. You have any ideas?
No.
You're catching me a little off guard.
Well, no,
I'm
having
to think about that and come back.
Yeah.
I have to come back to that one to see who I'd cast in all those
think
parts.
Of who would be that age range and kind of...
Yeah, like middle-aged dude from Jersey.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure I'll come up with something good later, but offline, of course.
Well, I'm thinking because, I mean, you have Gary Oldman who just played Winston Churchill. So
maybe you could age someone.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
You could probably do it that way.
James Franco.
Yeah, now that everything's coming out about him now. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think who's a great actor of our time that would be the right. I mean, that's a problem with Hollywood now. We're not getting great superstars anymore.
The thing about James Gandolfini too is that he was a character actor.
He was, yeah.
And even kind of after The Sopranos, he was just kind of he's never really a starring, leading man kind of guy.
Right.
So for him to be in that role was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So I think you'd probably have to take another person like that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. He will forever be known as Tony Soprano. Just like Christopher Reeve's always going to be Superman and things like that. So.
I could see if you're doing this maybe 10 years from now or maybe even 20 years from now, the woman who played Adriana, I could see maybe her recasting her as
the wife,
Carmela.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Maybe you could recast Michael Imperioli could.
Well, some of these people might be
someone older.
young enough to still play.
He could play, Polly Walnuts instead.
Yeah. Well, actually, the daughter may be old enough to play the wife at that point.
That's true.
So we could adjust as we go.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's an interesting topic, and so that's a good pick. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks.
All right, we're back with Samantha. Welcome back.
Hello.
Thank you. So for this week, we're gonna get very creative, and we've been talking about TV shows and movies and all this, and then this week we're going to talk about our wishes for existing TV shows and if you'd want them to be a movie or not. And so you came up with 3, and I'm curious to hear.
I'm not very creative, so I did come up with 3 ideas, which I thought were interesting at the time.
That's
but
3 more than most people.
I didn't go beyond the general concept, let's say, but we can chat.
Yes.
And if you've seen these shows, then
I can throw out my opinion.
Throw some ideas out.
Okay.
Okay. So I went with 3 shows.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of these came to mind during last week's, or one of the previous weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about. Well, it was kind of a tangent.
Sure.
We were talking about SNL and different actors and things. So that one of that came from that, and then another 2 were just 2 of my favorite shows that I think could make good movies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a fan of the movie version of that, stretching or forcing the show.
Okay.
But maybe if it was done right.
You acted really well on on that episode we had you on. You were really into it and everything.
Yeah.
So this is good.
Okay.
At least you hide it well. Or you're just very nice to me for being on the podcast. Or one of the 2.
So I think, but generally, it's not always... I like watching something that's a new creative idea.
Sure.
So having the background of it being a TV show first, I would always be skeptical.
Right.
I'm a cynic. I never...
You're coming in with your biases already.
Yeah. So, Okay, let's just go with the first one.
Okay.
This is the first one that totally came to mind when we were chit-chatting last week. Would be a movie off of Mad Men.
Nice. Okay.
Have you seen all
I have
of
seen.
Mad Men?
I've not seen all of them, but I have seen episodes. Yes.
Okay, so Mad Men's one of my favorite television shows. I watched it from the beginning, watched all the episodes. I even took a class in college about it.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so I was...
What was the call? It was just about...
It was about Mad Men.
Okay.
So I went to UC Berkeley, and we had these kind of fun classes that were taught by students.
Okay.
So if you were really passionate about something, you could teach a class about it.
Nice.
And, like, other people could actually take it and get units from it.
Did you do it yourself? Like, did you teach something?
No, that was too much work.
You could have done Hitchcock or something.
Yeah. One of my friends did. She did a Band of Brothers class.
Oh, yeah.
And so I didn't actually take it. I didn't have time. But my senior year, I took a few. I took a Mad Men class and a Parks and Rec / 30 Rock class.
Really?
So it was for like the SNL Tina Fey fans.
Yeah.
So I should have brought that up last week.
That's pretty awesome.
We were talking about...
I would have totally done a heavy metal course.
I
That would
know.
have been great.
You could have. Yeah, there were classes about Harry Potter and all the different TV shows and books and things. Total tangent.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. So I took a class on Mad Men then, and we would actually like study each of the episodes, like pick them apart and look at themes. And I had to I think write a little paper about an episode or a character or something. So yeah, I've really loved this show since the beginning. I think partially because I'm a huge fan of period pieces.
Right, so you like that era.
So I love that era. And that's initially what caught my eye. I was like, ooh, it's based in the early 60s.
Right.
It's very stylish, mid-century. And then, of course, when the show came on, the acting was phenomenal. The storyline was clever. It wasn't just a workplace show, which I think it seemed like from the beginning. It went a lot into the minor characters. And the characters had these... They kind of evolved, but not really. Toward the last season... I really enjoyed it, but it was interesting to see where everyone turned up because it started in early, maybe like 61, 62, and it ended up in 1970.
Okay, and there's huge cultural shift by the end of the decade.
Yeah. So I actually saw online it says it started in 1960.
Okay.
So it was a full decade.
Uh-huh.
It was an awesome show about how they how people existed in these different time and cultural shifts, and being clearly someone who didn't grow up at that time, it seemed pretty realistic to me.
So this is almost where you could go into the future and do a movie about each decade, like if you wanted to then get in the 70s and 80s and so forth.
So it left off in 1970, and this show just ended a couple years ago, so realistically there could be a movie with the same actors.
Cast,
and I was a huge nerd, and when the show was online, I read forums and comment boards about the show where people thought about what's gonna happen, and they joke about Don Draper's gonna be dead by 1980 from all the alcohol and cigarettes, and
you gotta get him into cocaine in the late 70s and 80s, so it'd be like American Psycho or something like that.
But if this show is done right, I think if the original writer was involved, I think it would be so cool to follow maybe some of the cast who is still in the working world and see how the advertising business changed, because a huge part of the show was that advertising life, and Don Draper was the advertising guy, and then the minor characters with Peggy, his secretary, who becomes she grows, and I forget what her role is at the end, but she becomes an ad executive for the most part. So there's just so many options with this show. You could follow her and maybe see where she is as a career woman, in the 80s or 90s, or you could, follow Don Draper and maybe he I don't want to give the finale away, but you could see what happened to him, because he was just a troubled, horrible person. So see what happened there. And I think something else that would be cool was that his daughter actually ended up having a really major role in the show.
Okay.
Because I know Kiernan Shipka plays Sally Draper. Okay. So it would be interesting to see where Sally Draper ends up, because she started out like just as his little daughter,
right?
And then 10 years goes by and she's a teenager by the end of the show, and she was a really good actress. I don't think they knew it when they cast her as a child.
No. So she could take over the business or parts of the business.
Or she could get into the industry that her dad was in, or she's kind of turned into a little rebellious figure. So it would be cool to see if maybe she left her life behind, and where did she end up in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah. Did you ever think about having this be a prequel to find out what led up to how he turned out as a movie?
A lot of the show goes into
do they do that already? Okay.
The history of the characters a bit. So kind of the intro to the show is like, why is Don Draper how he is?
Right.
And one of the big twists of the show is his identity. So he's not who he portrays himself to be.
Okay.
So a few of the seasons go into like, well, where did he come from? Like, it's not his real name. So it goes into his background.
I really need to watch all the episodes.
It's really good.
Yeah, no, that's all. I've only heard good things.
And so I don't really think a prequel would be useful, because a lot of the show's themes relies on like this identity and background of a lot of the characters. And I think most of what's left is when it ended. I just wanted to know more about what happened to them, because they seemed like such real, interesting people.
Right.
Because the writing was so good.
Okay.
So I think it could definitely turn into something. Maybe it wouldn't be really called Mad Men anymore. I think it'd have to be something different.
But I Mad Women. I see Mad Women.
The feminist.
Yes, that's right.
Because like the women characters were actually some of the more fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, because I think the show at the beginning, or for a while, or to people who didn't really watch it, it just seemed like kind of like a business guy show.
Right.
Like, they wore their sleek suits and they went to their advertising meetings and they were all very sexist and rude to the secretaries, but
it evolved once.
Yeah, kind of, and the female characters became more major. Like, you have the secretary and the office assistant who become more than that. They actually become owners of the company at one point. And even like Don Draper's wife, Betty Draper, she's like the worst person ever, but she was my favorite character on the show.
So who's worse, him or her? Or are they just made for each other?
They get divorced.
Okay, well then, yeah.
But they're both very narcissistic. But she ends up, another spoiler, she ends up getting cancer.
Okay.
Toward the end of the last season. So Betty Draper's probably going to die unless something happens. But
he could remarry, right? And then... Or
he does remarry in the show,
yeah.
But that doesn't really pan out.
Okay.
So... yeah, you have to watch it,
okay,
but I think definitely Mad Men, there's just so many options there.
Okay, that's a great pick. Nobody picked it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
I've thought about this a lot, actually,
this is
back.
Awesome. I'm glad. Yeah, at first you were like, I didn't really think much about it, but you did. This is good.
So it's all coming back to me. Okay, so Mad Men, I'd say, is my number one.
Okay.
Show, and then I think another one, when I was thinking about Mad Men and then our talk from last week, I started thinking about the show Freaks and Geeks.
Yes.
And how that, unlike Mad Men, that show was only one season.
Right.
And you didn't really get to see a lot of what the characters were like. Like, the show was amazing.
It is.
Just how much happened in, 10 episodes or so. And everyone...
And I really caught this late, because everyone was like, you need to see this, especially if you like, all those actors that eventually ended up becoming super famous.
Yeah.
And I just kept putting it off, and when I finally watched it, I was like, what was I missing? Because this is amazing.
It's amazing, and I didn't see it when it first came out on TV, but I watched it, I think, in high school. We found it. One of my friends was obsessed with it. Like, she never had TV growing up, so she just would rent things.
Okay.
And she loved Freaks and Geeks. She would quote it all the time, and so I finally got around to watching it. And
so it looks like there was 18 episodes.
There were 18?
Yeah, maybe more, but...
I thought there were only 10. I haven't watched it in a few years.
But it was only one season, so...
Yeah.
It's funny, pretty much everyone in that show really went on to become pretty popular.
They either got into film or TV, and I think...
Yeah, 18 if you count the pilot, yep.
Yeah, and then of course, like the creator, he went on to make a bunch of things. He even worked on Mad Men, Paul Feig.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
So...
Yeah, pretty much the whole... I would say going into it, the one that was probably most famous was... I always pronounce her name wrong, but Busy Phillips, or because she was on Dawson's Creek, and so. But yeah, I mean, you have James Franco and Seth Rogen and Jason Segel and Linda Cardellini, and yeah, I mean it's and then of course Martin Starr, who's in Silicon Valley, and he's been in a few other movies too. So
and everyone is still recognizable.
Yeah.
And even like some of the smaller characters, like Rashida Jones had a small role on it, and who else? She's the first one that comes to mind. But I think this could just make such a fun like reunion movie.
Yeah.
It's like say they graduated in that one, whatever year it ended in.
Yeah.
And they could do a really fun. 10 year, 15-year reunion.
Yeah.
Because the actors still look pretty young.
Yeah, for the most. Yeah, no, for the most part, totally.
Or you could, the actors when now they have kids or something. You could just see the next generation.
Yeah.
And I think it could just be a really fun and funny reunion type.
Yeah, this is one where even critics are saying this shouldn't have been pulled as soon as it was. No. Yeah, it should have lasted longer.
I never really read into why. Was it like a money thing? Probably.
Yeah, I think it was on NBC, and it just didn't get enough ratings. Like it just didn't do well enough.
It's one of those classic cult shows.
Yeah,
that people started watching later,
and maybe the period piece of it didn't sink in like it does now. So it was kind of like late 70s going to the 80s, where I think that would really do well now. Yeah, because there's a lot of 80s shows.
Everyone's like obsessed with Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, and the Goldbergs. Yeah,
the same time period.
Yeah, so I think it would have done really well, and that'd be. I would love to see. They keep talking about, and they do kind of mini reunions and things like that. But yeah,
and I think even like the cast is friends in real life.
Yeah.
Like they'll actually hang out together.
And James Franco and Seth Rogen are always buddy. So
so it would be super fun.
That's a great pick.
If I was like wealthy and could finance it, I'd finance it.
Do a Kickstarter like they did with Veronica Mars. So that was like a good movie. That turned out being a movie. So it could work.
Okay, it could work. I think this is one where with how relevant everyone still is and what kind of show it was, I think it could work.
Yeah.
As just maybe like a fun kind of dark comedy or something.
So you wouldn't want to see it with different characters? Like they rebooted it like as a movie with different characters?
No. Oh, I don't like
actors.
reboots.
Okay.
When
they do it that way.
Same characters are portrayed by different people.
Okay, so do you have a problem with it when it's like 30 years later? So the prime example that I've been using...
It's hard to think because these people are still like...
exactly.
And kicking.
You're like The Fugitive. Most people our age don't remember the original Fugitive TV show. My dad did. That was his favorite TV show. And so, but I only know really the Harrison Ford version.
Yeah,
and so,
same here.
Yeah, so I think it just... If you wait long enough, sometimes it could probably work.
If you wait long enough,
But this actually, it's almost been 20 years since this is off the air, so that's crazy.
Yeah. So they could... bring this show back.
They could.
They could make it a CW show.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Just some other teenagers.
Yes.
And it would probably be pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think from my end...
If they're going to do a movie, you want the original cast.
I think it would be cool to see the same cast get together and do some sort of like dark comedy, Where Are We Now, reunion-esque thing.
I think it could work.
And then someone else wanted to do the reboot.
Let's get a Kickstarter going. Okay, what is your third and final pick?
My last one, I decided to go for a comedy because these two were definitely dramas. Like Freaks and Geeks is funny, but I definitely consider it a drama.
Sure.
And so my last choice is the British comedy Peep Show.
I have not heard of this.
Oh my God. It is one of my all-time favorites. If I had to make a list of 5 shows, it would be in my top 5 TV shows.
Okay, I need to tell the listening audience about this. When did it come out, and what's it about?
It started, I pulled up my lovely online resources so I'll have information instead of me just rambling. So it's a British sitcom. They're like 30-minute episodes. It started in 2003, and it ended just a couple years ago now. The last season came out in 2015. Okay. So it was on for a really long time. I didn't find out about it until probably like 2008 or so. But it is hilarious. It's written. So they didn't create it initially, but it's written by 2 really famous British comedians named David Mitchell and Robert Webb. Okay. And they also have like another comedy type show called the Mitchell and Webb Show. So it's more like a sketch comedy. Okay. So, but this is like an actual sitcom, and all it really is it follows these 2 guys, they're friends and roommates, and they just they just get into horrible situations. Okay,
give me an example of one of the really funny, horrible situations.
So, well, one of my favorite episodes, it has very immature moments. So,
I like that. I'm with you there.
The one episode where I just couldn't stop laughing. This is one of the only shows that like has made me almost cry with laughter, because they have it's dry humor, and it's not for everyone. Okay. But the one episode that always comes to mind is the one character is getting married, or he's supposed to get married, but he really, really doesn't want to get married. He hasn't wanted to, but he just finds himself having to get married just due to his horrible personality and not being able to just act upon anything. Okay. And so he has to go to this wedding, and then the friend there's just all sorts of issues of the friend getting there, and they end up in the chapel. Like they've ditched the wife, but they're sitting above the chapel, like in the top level of the chapel, and for some reason the one friend pees himself.
The one getting married, or the one?
No, the other one. And it was, I think was it on this episode? He might have been on a bunch of drugs or something. But they're just, the one friend is like, so Mark, he is like the kind of socially awkward, like uptight one who's getting married. And then Jez is the just
happy-go-lucky.
Like he really has no responsibilities. He tries to be a musician. And so he's the one, he's always like getting up to trouble. And then like Mark tries to help him. But so, yeah, this wedding episode, I didn't have a chance to rewatch some of the episodes before this, but I would have. But
so it's enough of a comedy, and they could make a separate movie out of this based on just like little vignettes they get into.
Yeah. Because I just found a bit about this episode. Okay. So yeah, Jeremy's like hungover, and then it was just awful, and then. Yeah, Mark ends up getting married even though he doesn't want to. So I just liked that episode. I think it was in the 4th season. Okay. Because it really just kind of encapsulates their personalities. They end up in this situation which any sane, like socially normal person could have gotten out of, but they just can't function in life. So,
is this on Hulu or?
It was on Netflix. Okay. I think they took it off for a little while. And I don't even know if it's back on. Okay. But yeah, there's tons of episodes, and the whole thing is just problem after problem after problem. So the movie, it would just be funny to see a movie like a long
of them just constantly getting into
issue. Yeah, because the episodes are so short, but they all run into each other, so it's not like it's an ongoing storyline for the most part.
But if you watch them out of sequence, you could still
still laugh. Yeah. So, but I think it would make a really funny movie. You could do like it's a super dark comedy, so I could just see it. It's kind of like in the style of like Office Space or something like that. With just
if they can make a movie out of Mr. Bean, they can they could do this too. Yeah.
Yeah, and for this show, you would have to keep the original characters, because they are
those characters.
They are, and these two actors, they do a lot of other work on British TV. Like I watch a lot of British panel shows, which are like. It's like celebrities playing like trivia games and stuff. It's really dorky. But David Mitchell's like an ongoing member of these like panels. So, and his real life personality is very similar to
how he is
on the show. So it's like who they are. It's really relevant to the characters. And yeah, they have had a lot of great minor characters. Mark's wife is played by what's her name? Olivia Colman.
Okay.
She did Broadchurch.
No,
it's in Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
It's another popular murder show.
I'm stacking up my murder shows. This is good. So what's this called again? So if anyone's
Peep Show.
Peep Show. So
Peep Show. And I actually have no idea why it's called Peep Show. It's just a show about two guys who are just horrible, and you feel bad for them, but then you feel awkward, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Though, and yeah, they just live in just it's very like normal, like they're just boring apartment in their boring town, and Mark has like his boring office job, but
they still find a way to always be
they always get into trouble, and the one friend is like another musician who he's like a super weird guy, and then it follows kind of their horrible romantic lives, and it's hysterical.
Well, those are three really creative picks. So we have Peep Show, Freaks and Geeks, and Mad Men. Yeah. So hopefully coming to a theater near you in the next 10 years. So you heard it first. You were the first one. I'm going to give you full credit for 3 Billboards. Because Samantha talked about it first here because we were doing our city in the title, and then magically it started winning Golden Globes. So
it's on the Golden Globes. It's on the Oscar list. It's like I did have some negative opinions of it, but it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, and I heard it here first. So Samantha's a trendsetter. Yes, thank you again, Samantha. Okay, we're back with super producer Lindley. I'll make sure to always say it from now on because...
Only because you prefaced it with saying, well, when I'm in a good mood, I call you super producer.
That's true. But anytime I'm interviewing you, it's a good time. It's a good mood. So this week we're going to get creative and we're going to talk about our TV series that we wish would have a movie based out of it. Now, you might go on a different spin here and talk about reboots and things like that.
Well, that only because now we have this concept of a reboot. That all these shows are rebooting or the opportunity to reboot, right? So I'm fine with either. I'm fine with just revisiting the characters, whether it be a movie
or another
or a reboot or a TV show.
Yeah.
Sorry, or like the reboots are usually supposed to be like just 8 episodes or something.
Yeah, like they're
have been. Yeah.
Well, actually, most seasons now they're 10 episodes.
Well, if they're on a cable. I don't do series even do 25 episodes like they used to.
NCIS does. I like NCIS. So maybe those Law and Order ones do because they're tried and true. But I think for newer ones, they hedge your bets by not doing a full arsenal of...
Well, they usually don't pay for it. Yeah, they'll we'll buy 9 episodes and we'll do...
And actually, I think it works better. It's almost like Stranger Things. It's like a long movie. And it works well.
Yeah. It is. That's how it... I mean, that's what TV... The good TV is really just like a good movie. Yeah. Movies of the past. Mm-hmm. It's the era of TV now.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Hollywood's in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. My choices were I was very excited about the Roseanne reboot. Yeah. Even though I think only the first 3 seasons of Roseanne are
How many seasons did they do total?
I don't know, but I would say once the kids were
like once David showed up, then I kind of thought it went downhill. Though people love that character. What is it, Johnny Galecki? Now he's on Big Bang Theory. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Just whenever it was like all about Darlene and David, then I just kind of got bored with the story. Yeah. But the kids got too old. I don't know
what it was.
Yeah,
it does happen. Very rarely.
It just wasn't as interesting. But it did go super downhill the last season. Yeah, of course.
I think the only time it really worked for me, I love Married with Children all the way through. Oh. And so I didn't mind when Christina Applegate and David, Dave Faustino.
Well, she was already of adult age, or at least like 16 or 17.
Yeah. Though you look at her, she looks completely different.
She looks very different than she does now, for sure.
Yeah. And then Bud was definitely like a little kid.
He was a kid. Yeah. And then became.
But he was always, it's different when
I love the mom.
Oh, Peggy, yes.
What, Katie Seagal? Katie Seagal?
Yep.
Yeah, I love her.
And Al Bundy, Ed O'Neill's always Al Bundy, no matter what he does. Even though he has a resurgence on Modern Family.
He's on Modern Family, he's not Al Bundy-ish.
I know, but he's still always Al Bundy.
He looks like Al Bundy. He's kind of old age, so it helps me. But I remember when he was on Wayne's World.
Of course, he played the donut shop guy. He was also in
Al Bundy.
There was a movie called Dutch, I think he was in.
I remember that movie, yeah.
But no, I love that show, and of course Marcy Darcy is so funny.
I never watched it. Uh-huh. I mean, I've watched episodes of it, but I don't think I've ever watched it.
Well, it's kind of, you can watch it at any time, and like you don't have to watch it in succession.
Yeah, of course.
The only time, I mean, you do have the Jefferson era as opposed to the first husband for Marcy. I can't remember his name now, but
okay. Yeah, so I didn't know she had two different. That's the neighbor, right?
Yeah. So Jefferson is the guy that was on the Love Boat in Revenge of the Nerds.
He was on the Love Boat in Revenge of the Nerds. Was he the doctor? Doc?
No, he was. Well, I don't know. It was Jefferson.
He wasn't Gopher.
No, definitely not. Jefferson Darcy.
Aren't they remaking that as a movie, The Love Boat?
That would actually wouldn't be a bad movie.
I would actually love that because that's another movie I watched. You can hear how much TV I watched growing up. I watched all these
Ted
shows.
McGinley.
That's the doctor. No, that's Captain Stu. Oh no. Oh. I know who that guy is, but who was he on the Love Boat?
I don't know, but he was always...
He was a later character.
Exactly. So the shtick is
and I think he was on Happy Days.
Yeah, he's a show killer. So basically, like they would say when he was on your show, it's towards the end of the show. But actually, they stayed on for a while with him.
I know him. Yeah, okay, I remember him.
Remember in Revenge of the Nerds? He's like the main jock for the evil.
I wouldn't remember, but probably.
Fraternity, yeah.
I do remember him from Happy Days.
Yeah.
And now that you're speaking, I can imagine him in
that boat.
In that uniform. Yeah, the boat uniform. the cruise boat crew uniform. Yeah, so TV shows, this is a horrible one that I would like a reboot or a movie for, but Friends, I would.
Yeah. Enrica, that was her second pick.
I'm sure it will suck, but I don't care. I could,
I could see it, like see what they're doing now and, where they all ended up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like, it may happen, you never know.
Yeah.
Like, it's at least a reboot, but.
Yeah, it is very...
And there could be one where if they waited 30 years, they could actually do a movie based on a whole new cast.
Though, right. They won't. I don't think they will. I think they've also they won't do it. Okay. I think they've all kind of gone beyond.
Well, Jennifer Aniston doesn't need it at this point.
I don't think any of them need it after that TV show success. That was a huge...
That's true.
And the rerun, all the money they're raking in based on... Like Enrica is someone who probably just watched it as reruns.
Yeah, absolutely.
She didn't even watch it
in the
real time. I can't even believe how old it is. They showed, like, 90s. My daughter's been watching it, and I was like, oh my god, this was on like 20 years ago.
Yeah, well, it's like Seinfeld.
Almost 20 years ago. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. But Seinfeld feels like it was on 20 years ago. For some reason, Friends doesn't to me. I don't know why.
You just don't want it to.
I just forget. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, this was,
When was the last episode? Was it 2000 or was it 90s?
I was in Australia, and my friend actually mailed me
a VHS
tapes because I couldn't watch it in Australia. So that must have been 2004 or 2004 or 2005.
Okay.
2004, I want to say.
Long time ago. Yeah.
Very long time ago, yeah. The last episode. Terrible.
So there any other shows that you wish would have?
I mean, I don't know.
Samantha came up with a brilliant one. Oh. And it's one of your actually favorite TV shows.
It's one of my favorite
It was only
TV
on
shows?
for one season.
Oh, Freaks and Geeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a really good one. That would be awesome. But how could you would have them as adults?
Yeah.
I just want that show to continue.
Her idea was they come back and they like a high school reunion.
Oh, that would be really good. Yeah. It would be easy for them to do because they're all still working together.
Yeah, Franco and Rogen are friends. And,
Oh, they all are, yeah. Jason Segel, they all show up in each other's movies and in Judd Apatow movies.
It'd almost be like Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. So, yeah. That wouldn't be a bad one.
That's a great one. Yeah. That's a really good one.
There's a show that should have been on longer than,
But it would have gone downhill, right?
Who knows? I mean, they only did 18 episodes, and they were all pretty solid. So.
They could have done another season or two at least.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all I have. Sorry.
That was still a good one. Thank you. You still get super producer title.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, we're back with everyone's favorite guest, who is now not ready. Well, at least it's my uncle's favorite guest. And that is Danielle. We don't even have to mention her. She's laughing, so it doesn't even. I don't even have to introduce you. You are introduced. You're blushing, so the radio audience can hear you or see you. Okay.
So nice.
Can you hear her blushing? Anyway, I tried to explain this week's subject to Danielle.
Yes.
And 4 or 5 times, and she's continued to get it wrong. So we're going to get whatever she gives us this week. And
I did both because I didn't know which one I was supposed to do. And then...
So I said TV series that you wish would turn into a movie.
Okay.
This turned into, people like me, so I'm going to do movies that turn into TV.
I never said that. Stop.
Well,
stop.
In any case, I'm not even going to try here. Give me your list of whatever you have. Okay?
So I have 6 of each, just in case I did the wrong one. And I did.
So this is going to be a 4-hour episode, folks. Okay, let's get right into it.
So the right one is TV to movie, right?
Correct.
Yeah, see? I did it right.
It only took a week. But
come on. So my first tip is... Oh, and by the way, if any of these...
Already had there?
Yes, let me know.
How's that for research, folks?
Because I will watch them.
Okay.
Maybe.
We'll find out. Our listening audience will write in.
So my number 6 is my least favorite, but is favorite, like it's the top 6.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Come on, we speak Portuguese for
a
week now.
Oh yeah.
So it's Seinfeld.
Oh, okay.
I really love it. Seinfeld.
What kind of movie would you? Well, it's a show about nothing. They say
exactly.
That.
Yes.
So what would your ideal movie
I don't know
be?
How they are now, and I don't know what they're doing. I mean, it would be the same. But just like situations, small situations.
So you would put that. So it'd be a 90-minute movie of just random situations they get involved.
Yes, because that was the best of Seinfeld, and that's where my English came from, as you can see.
So Soup Nazi and Serenity Now.
Serenity Now is my favorite.
Yeah.
The Soup Nazi too. Yeah, the bro is funny. Yeah, but I'm a divorcee. Yes, so that
says a lot about you.
What?
That Seinfeld was what made you.
Now you understand me, right?
Now I get you. Yes.
So this is number 6.
Okay, that's a good one.
So now always skip number 5. So now I have 2 numbers 4. I need to count. So number 5. Oh yeah, it's Frasier.
Oh, so the two shows you weren't.
I cannot betray. No, but there's a reason. Frasier at the end, he goes to Chicago. It's Chicago that he's flying to. You never watched?
I didn't really watch it,
so I don't know where he's going, but he's going. He's leaving Seattle and is going to some place that I forgot. The last episode.
Okay.
And he's landing. I mean, he's in the airplane and he's talking with this woman about like what was happening in his life, and it would be nice to know what happened. Mm-hmm. You know how is it?
So that would be your movie.
And you see like Niles and I forgot her name. Daphne,
his original wife, or is it?
No, Mary. She disappeared because she killed her husband, and she goes to an island.
This was the one that was on Cheers.
I haven't. You always talking about these Cheers.
Well, this is what it was.
Never heard about it.
Cheers was a spinoff, or Frasier was a spinoff. Of
no,
Cheers.
wait. You talking about the wife, Niall's wife, or
no, Frasier's wife?
Oh, Lilith. I forgot what happened. Lilith. I can't say that. I forgot what happened, but I love the actress. Yeah. She's good.
She's really good.
She's scary.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be nice to know what happened.
What happened to everyone? That's a good one.
See?
Number 4.
Calm down because I put the wrong.
we have 42 shows to go through, so
I know. Sorry. So my number what?
4.
It's Merlin.
Oh, Merlin. Okay.
Did you see that?
I have not seen it.
It was so cute.
This is about the magician or the wizard or whatever.
Is there any other?
How would I know?
Yes, it is about it, and it's about what's the name of the king? Because my memory doesn't work.
Arthur
King and Arthur. Lancelot, and
yes.
they give
medieval times.
The women like that they like it. So it's very. I like that series.
Mm-hmm.
It was like young Merlin.
Okay.
So it was like young king, young. Everybody was young there.
So I'm sure there have been movies about.
Oh come on!
This,
of
but
course,
not
like the Avalon,
sure.
something that's a classic. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love King Arthur and the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know everything behind. But Merlin, it's nice because it's focused on him.
Right.
You know, so. It would be nice to have a movie. There's no, like, the whole situation with the same actors, you know, because there's so many about the King Arthur. But, like, the same actors, the same, you know, the same setting, you know, the time.
It would work well.
It would be, like, they all young, they continue, like.
How long was the show on for?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because when I watch, I binge watch on Netflix. So I watch like everything.
Yes.
In a week.
A week.
So yes.
Number 3.
Number 3 is so this was a fight. Like the 3, 2, 1 is like
this was
my
tough for you.
1.
Okay.
They are all number 1 to me. So
1A, 1B, 1C.
There you go.
Yeah.
Is Black Mirror.
Oh, okay.
I really like Black Mirror. So there is no sequence. It's like every episode, it's a different crazy situation about the future and how technology is going to screw us up.
Okay.
So I think it could be nice to have, and it has, but not with the same, like there's always a twist at the end. There's always something that you say, oh my God. You know, like at the end of each episode, you get like, oh, you're thinking about it. So it'd be nice like get one episode and do like a movie.
Okay.
Inspiring only one. Because there is no sequel. It's just like each episode of each season is a different story. Totally different story. Have you seen it?
I've never seen it, so this would be interesting.
Fun.
I'd watch a movie probably of it.
Yeah. I thought like there's a movie.
No, I wouldn't watch a movie. So,
I'm slow. I need coffee. So the next one.
1B.
1B would be You Better Call Saul.
Oh yeah, so based on Breaking Bad.
Just because I love Breaking Bad. You didn't watch
You wouldn't want a Breaking Bad movie?
No, because I already know what happened.
Good point.
It's fine. So You Better Call Saul. So Breaking Bad, you watched it, right? Everybody had the weight in the series. Everybody was important in a way. So of course Mr. White was like, you know, he changed it, everything was crazy, but like Saul when he started, you get the attention from him, like the comic part. Because at the beginning of Breaking Bad, Mr. White is the kind of the comic part. He's trying to cook math and he is like again and they have like hilarious situations, him and the student. But Saul, he's so messed up. And then on the series You Better Call Saul, you understand why he's that messed up lawyer. So he has a brother, you know, he was never good enough to make as an associate to this guy who hates him. You know, there's the whole thing. And then here's like, I don't care. I'm going to do
something.
Disney. So it would be nice to have a movie on this so people could understand why Saul became like that, and then you can watch and Breaking Bad. It doesn't matter if you watch it before or after, but like understanding why Saul became so crazy.
Why he became who he is.
Yes.
Okay, that's very thorough explanation.
There is an explanation.
What is your Number one for real.
My number one is like one of my best series. Is in my top 1, 2 and a half. No, this like I love.
Too many numbers here. You realize it?
I know. It's Lost.
Lost. Okay, people have mentioned this. Like this would be a good movie.
Love Lost. Even though like it was funny because I was watching with my friends. Like we started watching in Brazil and. I was hooked on this first episode. I said, okay, I cannot leave this. I need to finish watching this, like the whole series. But I killed the mystery, like right away. It was so funny because I said as a joke, like I'm not religious at all, but I like studying and reading about it. And I said, oh, I know what is this. And I started talking. And there you go.
That's what happened, yeah.
So the thing about Lost, they put too much in the middle. So people start like, oh, I don't care. It's too much. And there's like even jokes, oh, I'm lost in Lost.
Well, it's true. It's one of the most complicated TV shows there ever was.
It was very complicated. And yeah, you could pick up some parts and take it out. But a movie about it will be super nice. The idea.
That'd be hard though, because you'd have to fit all of this into, a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, but there's the others. So they can do like a 2.5 hours movie because you have that with
Sure, that's true.
With worse movies. We have 2.5 hours. Yes. So yeah, they could do it. And no, you can take a bunch of stuff out and still passing the message, but it is all the mystery and everything. That would be nice.
That would be nice.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a good list, but let's quickly go through because you put in the effort.
I put in the effort.
Let's quickly
I cannot go quickly, but I put in the effort.
Why do I even bother? No, but we're going to talk about you did because you misunderstood.
Of course.
Movies you wish were TV shows.
Yeah. Okay. So I will be quick on this one. My first one would be V for Vendetta.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you have so much more that you could show. Like there is always someone who hates the system, and they could be like. Pass the mask, like,
That's a good point. That'd be a good one. Yeah.
to another one.
Yeah.
So it would be like a nice series to watch.
I think that's fair.
See, this was fast. Number 5 is Constantine.
Okay.
Do they have a...
Is that the one with Keanu?
Of course.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I can. I know he would
Well,
not
then the
be
show would have to be better because he won't be in it.
I know. But it's nice. Like the idea of Constantine. I don't know if there's a TV show about it. I don't know if...
I don't know.
Is it in the Bible? I have no idea. But it was a good movie. And I like the actress too.
Okay.
Rachel, I don't know the name.
Weisz? Is it Weisz?
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, the story would make a good TV series. I think so. Yeah. Right?
That's
good, you fight with the devil. This always like sounds.
I want to say there's maybe not exactly that, but there are similar TV shows that fall in that script.
Yeah,
that could
probably.
Be good.
Okay.
That sounds good.
So number 4 would be The Matrix.
You'd want a TV show?
I love The Matrix.
Sure.
Don't you're like,
well,
you want yuck.
No, the first Matrix was great. The other 2 I couldn't be bothered with.
I like the 3. I like the ideas. I like how they start the whole thing about like stop freezing the scene. Everything goes around that little piece that is frozen.
Yeah.
Like the bullet stopped.
Sure.
And people are moving.
It revolutionized.
So since then, there's a lot of everything is copying the style. But you could have like not the actors, not the same actors, but in parallel, you could have stories like The Matrix and Outside Worlds.
We can get into Morpheus and all those games. What is it, Morpheus? The Lawrence Fishburne character?
Yeah.
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 You could get just into his deal.
Or you could have like this parallel team that is not just this team. There's someone else that is always like getting screwed, and shows outside world as well.
Yeah.
Like people living normal lives and you have like that person who knows. And I think it would be nice.
No, now that you've explained that makes actually more sense.
Of course it makes sense.
Just ask you. Okay, what's next?
The next would be Looper.
Okay, I've heard about that. Oh, is this
it's
the
like
one
time travel with Bruce Willis.
I've seen it. With the kid. What was his name? He's got 3 names.
Oh, I don't know. Is that guy that...
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
But isn't Bruce Willis in the movie?
He is.
Yeah.
He's the older guy.
Yeah.
So it's like time travel.
It's a good movie. Yeah.
It is a good movie. And so, they jump to the future to kill the person, and then your last job you get like that bunch of money that you're gonna kill you're
basically a futuristic
so that is something cool to have in a TV series. Of course it'll be like short because it gets old,
but you could have whoever's next involved.
You could like do so much more.
Sure.
With not only focus on one, but like they can have like a bunch doing it, like they find out they're gonna die.
That's a good one. This is all creative. This is all good.
I'm a creative person.
Just ask you.
I know. And see, I'm being super fast. No one will understand me because they already don't understand me with my accent.
We're already 20 minutes in.
And you're gonna add it to me. It's gonna be like 5 minutes. It's gonna be 1, 2, 2. It's gonna be like hip cups.
Hip cups?
I know.
You are Pink Panther.
I know it's wrong.
Hip cups.
Anyway.
Number 2.
So number 2 would be Zodiac.
Okay.
Zodiac.
But how would you do a TV show?
Okay. You could have the name and do like the first episode. How about all about him? And then you could get like different cases.
So this is basically Mindhunter. Have you watched on Netflix?
No.
It's about the FBI profilers, the original ones that were trying to interview serial killers and then create a profile of a serial killer. And then they were solving crimes based on these profilers. It's similar.
Damn it, someone stole my idea.
And Zodiac's kind of part of that. I mean, so they kind of allude upon that. You should watch Mindhunter. If you like Zodiac, you'll like Mindhunter.
Yeah, but
this is a true story.
The same team from Zodiac, they could there's other serial killers and impossible to find, but the same line, the Zodiac could be like real life or not.
Sure.
But like have all these, of course, not the real investigation, but like ways to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would watch because that's my thing.
But check out Mindhunter. She'll like it.
Okay. And the number 1, because I love this movie, I need to be loyal, is Men in Black. And then you can go crazy. You can do whatever.
Okay, who would you get to play Will Smith?
I don't know. I don't know the name is in.
Okay. Well, just off the then who would you get to play Tommy Lee Jones?
Oh, only Tommy Lee Jones because.
But they're not going to do a movie. They're not going to do TV.
I know, but I don't know. One.
You get someone.
Oh, there is. I don't know. There's not.
Okay.
Anyway.
Of course, there's something.
One that's serious and one that's like funny. So
you
know just
what you
need
could
that.
do? Because you watched the third Men in Black, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could get Josh Brolin, the guy who played the younger Tommy Lee Jones, who was amazing.
Oh, see, there we go.
He was just like him. His facial expressions, his voice, he was just
I remember.
You could get him to play.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know it's too much, but
And then you can get Will Smith's son to play Will Smith.
No, because he's not funny.
Yeah.
But you have like that guy from Whose Line Is It Anyway? What's his name? He's super funny. I love him.
I would, yeah.
So he would be like my Will Smith. And then there you go. Now, what are the situations? You can do whatever. You can go insane.
Yeah, they're alien hunters.
And do it like, can you imagine The Thing? They go like, remember the movie The Thing? And they can like produce something similar.
They could.
It would be good.
They could. All right. This was a great job.
I know. I did both. Look, that's a lot of effort that I put.
Too much effort.
I know. Wow, it's too much.
That's enough. Thank you, Danielle.
Sure.
If you enjoyed this podcast and are an iTunes user, please do the show a favor and head on over to the official iTunes page for Damn Good Movie Memories. Be sure to leave a rating and a review. This will allow the show to appear higher in the algorithm and spread the joy of this podcast to the masses. If you are not an iTunes user, you can still listen and subscribe on Podbean at damngoodmoviememories.podbean.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook under our Damn Good Movie Memories page. You can also listen to a limited number of episodes on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode and be sure to tune in next week for an all-new episode of Damn Good Movie Memories.
I am Dr. Fuck.
And I'm the Absolute Alcoholic.
And we are part of the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast.
We are the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast.
That's right. And the way you can check us out is we are on iTunes and also Podbean. And we forgot a review recently. I got this review right here. It says right here, it says, Rock and Metal Combat Podcast is the greatest podcast in the world, and it's my number one podcast, signed by Science. Now, and then Science also says... Science also said, my second favorite podcast is It Doesn't Matter, the rest suck. Rock and Metal Combat Podcast on iTunes and Podbean. Check it out.
Science! Are you ready for the hottest new podcast out there? Check out the Vieira Vault, featuring none other than Dr. Fuck Ralph Vieira. You will hear personal stories and personal songs from the vault. There ain't nothing else like it. The one, the only, the original Vieira Vault on Podbean, Stitcher.com, and iTunes.
Spreaker.
God damn it.